One more time before I start, this video will contain spoilers for the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie, so continue at your own discretion. Hello my fellow security guards. As you all know, the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie just came out today, and I'm going to be giving you my own opinions and thoughts on the movie. As I stated before in my last video, I'm not the best reviewer and I have a bad taste in movies, so you're going to hear a lot of crazy things from me, but the majority of the reviews are more accurate than my take. For some context, I'm a huge fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. I've known this franchise since it started. One of the first videos that I made was called Five Nights at Revenants, which I actually made just before the first movie came out. And I've also seen every single game theory video on FNAF. I've seen so many different videos from different creators like Markiplier. I've even watched the cringy videos. That's just some of the few pieces of evidence to show you that this is one of my favorite series out there. I also bought one of the popcorn buckets that they had. I went to Cinemark, so I got this really cool Freddy plush holding pizza boxes. Now with that out of the way, let me tell you what I thought of the movie. I'm going to try my very best to keep my feelings towards the Faz away from this, but anyways, this movie is a step up from the first one. You've most likely heard people say that this movie is bigger, scarier, more action, and I can agree with all of that, but at the same time, it's not really hard to top the first one since it wasn't really the best. Even for me, who'd be satisfied with almost anything, I was able to identify the flaws of the first one, but personally, I thought that almost the whole movie was quite good. Sorry that I keep mentioning this, but I do not want to be burned alive by every single living specimen on this planet for saying that something that is clearly bad is good. So remember, when I say something is good, most other people would think it's trash. I truly thought that the opening scene was an amazing hook and was done really well. We're introduced to this little girl named Charlotte. She's on her own, waiting for what seems to be the other animatronics to come out for the show. While all the other kids are being kids, she has no other interest other than waiting for them. However, while everyone else is distracted, she notices a kid walk away from all the chaos and towards what seems to be the kitchen. Charlotte sees Spring Bonnie and gets the feeling that something's wrong, so she runs to an adult to warn them about what she saw. He ignores her and she asks another adult for help. Once again, ignored and yelled at. She's left with no other choice than to try to look for the kid herself. She goes through some doors and she finds the kid knocked out on the floor and William washing his hands or something like that. I got distracted by my brother, so sorry. Charlotte sneaks around and picks up the kid trying to save him. They both got spotted and now she's being chased trying to make it back to the main area. She makes it to the main stage out of breath holding the child. She takes a deep breath and screams as loud as she can to get the attention of everyone. Charlotte collapses and you can see a whole bunch of stab wounds on her back. Everyone is left in shock and the floor beneath her starts to open. She falls and slowly rises back up in the hands of the marionette holding her lifeless body. Come on, how could people absolutely grill this part? I think this is one of the best scenes in the entire movie other than the fact that the parents' acting sounded off and the way they ignored her seemed weird. Like, I don't think that's how most adults would act, but it was probably done on purpose just to piss the viewer off. We also got a remixed version of the intro from the first movie, which is cool to hear and see. After the intro, the movie pace slightly slowed down. It was mostly a recap of the first film and showing how all of the characters are dealing with everything that happened to them. There were a couple cheesy jokes here and there, but one had me dying in the theater. Mike and Abby returned to the demolished first location because Abby wanted to try and find the animatronics. They were unable to find them, and Mike tries to cheer Abby up by taking her to the prize booth, letting her grab whatever she wants. Not like they're gonna be arrested for taking more than one thing, but they're going through some of the merchandise, and Mike picks up this bootleg Freddy plush and it starts playing. Everyone in the theater started laughing and I could not get that scene out of my head. Not gonna explain everything that happened during this first half of the movie, but a quick summary. Vanessa gets some nightmares of her dad, which I really like. There's like two different scenes. I think that, oh shoot, I can't remember his name. Why am I blanking on his name? Williams actor, Matthew Lillard. I think that his acting was really good in this movie. Not that he did a bad job in the last movie, but we got to see more emotion from him. We also got to see the baby animatronic in one of the nightmares. Abby has this little side plot that was kind of a waste of time where she's trying to compete in this engineering competition for her school, but her teacher doesn't want her to compete because he's a dick. If I'm being honest, looking back at it now, the side quests only led to the teacher getting killed. There was also McKenna Grace's group of investigators that went to the FNAF 2 location, and they were set up by the night guard that worked there. They all died and the puppet possessed McKenna Grace's character, so Charlotte now has a new body. That should hopefully have summed up the more boring parts, so now we can talk about the third quarter of the movie. Also, the kills weren't boring, but there wasn't much to look at during these scenes because PG-13. So Abby ends up in the second location because of the fast talker that she got from the prize booth. She finds Toy Chica, who she believes is the original one but in a new body, but it's just the puppet controlling them. Charlotte is trying to take over Abby's body but can't do so yet because the animatronics are locked inside the pizzeria and they need a code to override their programming. Charlotte kidnaps Vanessa and forces her to give up the code because Vanessa trapped Charlotte at the pizzeria when she was little. I kind of forgot what happened during this part, so forgive me, but Mike ends up at the pizzeria and finds a note on the wall saying that Freddy is a killer or something like that with the phone number attached. He calls and meets up with Henry Emily. This part is short, but Henry drops some lore and Mike learns that Abby's in trouble, so he rushes over to the second location to try and save her. All the animatronics are gone, but luckily Mike finds Vanessa and saves her, who was tied up and left in a locker or room. I think this next part was very cool. Mike and Vanessa try locating the animatronics from the office computer, and they come up with the plan of Mike staying in the office and Vanessa going out to find them. I could not stop making references and explaining to my brother what it all meant. By the way, I wasn't being disruptive during the movie. I was whispering to him. Also, everyone else in the theater was talking a bit. So Charlotte gets alarmed that Mike and Vanessa are tampering with the computer, so she sends the withered animatronics towards them. Mike is literally playing FNAF 2 and Vanessa is getting chased by Mangle. The amount of stuff that I started pointing out was so fun. Balloon Boy pulled up and I thought,
sweet succulent AA batteries.
Mike put on the mask and I thought,
we're looking for the night guard. He's the night guard!
Pretty sure that's Freddy.
Foxy saw through the mask and I thought,
It'd be the night guard!
The night guard?
The night guard?
Also, I swear I saw Shadow Bonnie right before the Withered pulled up. That was a really cool detail, but I don't think a lot of people were talking about it or even saw it because it was just for a split second. The toy animatronics are out in the wild trying to find adults to kill. We get to hear Toy Freddy and Toy Bonnie during this part. It was cool, but I'm just a little disappointed that these two didn't get many lines, but Blumhouse was trying to get their money's worth out of Megan Fox, so I get it. MatPat's voice caught me off guard so much because it was so high-pitched, but I think it was the right choice, honestly. It also shows off MatPat's talent in acting and voice acting, so hopefully we get to see more of it in general. I want to see Matthew Patrick starring with RDJ in the next Avengers movie. Mike disables the animatronics and leaves to meet up with Vanessa. However, Charlotte reactivates them, and now they're in trouble again. Charlotte finds Abby and possesses her body, and Mike and Vanessa are outnumbered. We are now nearing the end of the film, and unfortunately, it does get a bit confusing and the story feels kind of poor here. Mike goes back to the first location begging for help from the animatronics to save Abby, but they're nowhere to be seen. Vanessa goes to Mike's house to find Abby possessed now, and she starts attacking her. Mike makes it back to the house in time and starts playing a music box that Henry asked Mike to give to Charlotte when he first went to the location. The marionette goes back to sleep, and Mike, Abby, and Vanessa are all safe until the toy animatronics pull up to the house and we see the night guard that got the investigators killed. It's revealed that he is Vanessa's brother, Michael Afton. My jaw dropped when I heard this. So to the average viewer, this part is very weird and makes no sense, so I understand why people might hate the ending, but even though I was busy trying to put the pieces of lore together, I understood that the movie was feeling quite choppy and this part wasn't done very well. Still liked it, but not done well. They argue for a bit and Michael Afton commands the toy animatronics to kill them. This part is so bad but also so funny too. So the toy animatronics are ready to kill them, and then the OGs pull up like the Avengers and break apart the toy animatronics to save them. I could straight up hear the Avengers theme going on in my head while this was happening. Afton tries running away but gets knocked out by Michael Schmidt's friend from earlier in the movie. I didn't mention him because he has like 2 lines in the entire movie and he didn't really matter until now. We see Cassidy, or the spirit of Golden Freddy, whichever you're more familiar with, tell Mike that since they are no longer at the pizzeria, they can no longer hold them there, implying that William is now free and is coming for them. Mike and Vanessa have one more conversation where Mike tells her to stay away from them, and Mike and Abby leave. Vanessa's left crying and watches them drive off, when suddenly, a puppet comes back and possesses Vanessa's body. That was the short summary of the movie. I didn't mean to summarize it, but I kind of got it mixed in with my review and my own thoughts and opinions. But overall, for a FNAF fan, I would say that this is way better than the first one and that the majority of the movie was good. And if I was a normal person going to see this, it was bad, but honestly not the worst movie. It's bad, but it's really not the worst. I know that might be a hot take, but it's just the way that I feel. It's my opinion. Also, I know I didn't talk about the lore or where this movie is going, so I'll leave that for another video, or, you know, just more intelligent people could do that for us. So, for a rating, I would give it a 7 out of 10. Hopefully no one's mad at me. That's my review on the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie. Thanks for watching.